Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another beautiful day of Azure Dreams Racing. We are here at the elimination bracket finals for the Rock Me to the Top 3 Random Toolkit Tournament. I'm Lady Demi, and with me today is...
Ty here.
There we go. So, what we have here today is a PlayStation 1 roguelike RPG. They have a tower with 40 randomly generated floors that will be seated the same across both runs to make things fair. They will have an hour to get as far as they can, as fast as they can, and will be doing in a best-of-3 format. What makes the Random Toolkit Tournament special is that the first 5 items, the items that are in normal Azure Dreams, assured and guaranteed and constant, with the first monster, which is in normal Azure Dreams, assured and constant, will be different. They'll still be getting a weapon, a shield, a medicinal herb, a pita fruit, a spell ball, an egg, and a monster with its spell unlocked. But they're not going to be what we see in a regular unrandomized version. They can be any of the things from those categories. Any monster for the first monster, which in turn can be of any element, which is pretty. Which can lead to some interesting matches. Things can be over very quickly in terms of, this can be very helpful, this can be very hurtful, this can give them interesting challenges, and they're off. So in a second, we'll see what the first monster we have in store today is. Okay, so let us wait and see.
Snowman.
Oh, that is a pretty alright monster. Very you.
Yeah, especially like lately, there's been discussion that Snowman has an ability that hasn't been used very much, but that pretty much does 2.5 damage of normal attack that can be very useful, especially early on.
This is a fire snowman, it looks like.
Yes. So in this case, our runners, because all the monsters that are randomized that you can get will have their initial spell unlocked. In case of a snowman with the standard element of water, that would be a mixture magic that would attack additionally on top of what Ko is attacking. But with fire version, that attack changes into 100% blind, which is quite good status, but the problem is that they have to take a hit before they can apply it.
Do they?
Yes, because the thing is that to be able to apply that blind on an enemy, they have to be next to it. So they have to attack it, and when they attack it, enemy is blind. But enemy's AI pathing works this way that if they're blind, then they will just walk front. If they find an obstacle in front of them, they will attack that obstacle. And of course, when you're attacking a monster, you're in front of it, so you do need to take a hit before you can walk away from a monster.
Okay, so we're not talking they have to take a hit before they can apply it, so much as that applying it does not save them from the hit right away.
Exactly. So early on, that's very, very useful because they probably can take a hit, but later on, depending on what level they will be on, they might be even one-shotted by every single monster in the tower. So that status is not something that they will probably be going for in the long run. But Lady Deme, tell us what they might be going for with this type of mixture magic.
Well, this type of mixture magic, in its wind form, the thing it adds to your initial attack is going to be paralysis. It's interesting that neither of them are really using that mixture magic much, even though it's not expensive, it's cheap. And I wonder if they know that it's cheap.
I think they do. It's just that probably because they will be fighting anyways, those enemies. They don't need to apply the blind. And of course, it takes time. And I think we are trying to speedrun here because we have to mention that both of these runners are actually very good when it comes to like speed. So maybe they're trying to save time. That would be my reasoning.
Could be. The animation is a little slow. They do still get like a bonus to the attack itself, though.
As far as I know, no, they wouldn't. The only thing that may change, that one thing that I'm not sure of is that like, is the co-attack becoming a fire when they attack? That's something that could be checked. But there is no additional damage, I think, from that blind attack.
You're probably right.
And there we go. We see that.
I probably got something slightly confused. Oh, and Reven found a warp trap that nearly got dangerous, but it looks like Reven goes immediately for that wind element. We're gonna see some paralysis here.
Yes. It has both good and bad things. Oh, by the way, welcome Shoni with the party of 7. Raiding us. Shoni is one of our founding members of the community. I know that he was tutoring someone else right now in a bookless percent run. It's one of the categories that our runners have on the leaderboard. So I guess he just wanted to join the fun with us. Going back to my original thought, wind, like Lady Deme mentioned, that's very, very good in terms of this mixture magic because it gives 100% paralysis. So they would be pretty safe in fighting any single enemy. But the problem is that, that trap, bomb trap, and many other traps are fire-based. Many spells, or pretty much all the spells that monsters use on you, are fire spells. And Lady Deme, why fire would be bad against wind?
I'm not entirely sure. No, because they have a weapon triangle. I'm not sure what the logic of fire versus wind is. I suppose wind is very useful to fire in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
In ways as Roland has the ability to move and stoke it. But point is, there is an elemental triangle, and so wind loses to fire, and fire traps plus fire spells make wind kind of the worst element to be running with. On the other hand, like, what does not get the chance to hit you can't hurt you. So, and that is like one of the chief advantages of paralysis. It's a fairly solid way of at least getting some free hits in. Because status effects here do obey Pokemon rules. Gen 1 Pokemon rules specifically, it takes their turn to be unparalyzed. I know that applies to sleep.
Yes, at least like one turn. If I recall right, that it will be at least one turn before they can get unparalyzed. It's not like when you use a binding ball, which is like a paralysis spell in a ball, which you can use whenever you want. That one always 100% guaranteed will paralyze an enemy for 4 turns. But in terms of this kind of paralysis spell, how long that paralysis lasts is not guaranteed. So I think it can be 1 turn, it can be more. So that's why it's not as amazing as having a paralysis spell in a ball, but it's still really, really good in the beginning.
It's a very handy way, and like, sometimes all you need is one free space.
Exactly.
One space between you and an enemy can make really all the difference, because barring slow traps, everything happens at about your speed, except pickets. But pickets aren't going to kill you. Probably.
Unless they do. We've seen situations where they can, especially when you are heavily under-leveled. Our runners at the moment sort of are, but not really. It's still early, so they can pick up those levels pretty quickly. But yeah, especially when you have paralysis spell, you don't fight a lot. You usually like paralyze and run away because you don't have very good means to fight. When you don't fight, you don't get experience. When you don't get experience, you're under leveled. And even though you can run away from quite many situations, the moment you take the hit, it might be your last hit that you took in this round.
Yep, we did see Wugga switch doing the same thing. That really is probably the best way to go with this snowman.
Especially that Snowman's attack is not that bad, and like Lady Deme mentioned, we've got this elemental triangle where wind loses to fire, but also wind beats water. And Wugga right now is in the water floors where most of the tough opponents are water. So that Snowman in the simple attack would be quite strong against those water monsters.
Yeah, that'll be a pretty thing. We normally see runners speed through those floors, and I see them both because we're dealing with Wugga and Reven here, but also because, as in general, some of the monsters on those like 7 through 9 are just unpleasant enough. U-boats are just nasty enough that you still don't want to fight. We see Reven almost hatching that starting egg. I know Wugga, I think hatched it. I missed the exact moment of it, but certainly made significant inroads into hatching it just to see what it was.
And it's a unicorn.
Okay, yeah, it's a unicorn. That's not all that much more exciting. Its spell is an area of effect spell. It's very expensive, and so while it has some niche uses, we're probably not going to really see it.
I somehow feel that Reven might be thinking this way, that if he finds a blue collar, he will probably not try too hard to find it, but if he does find the blue collar and thus being able to fuse two familiars, I somehow feel that he will fuse both Snowman and Unicorn, keeping his Snowman, because having AoE spell, especially on top of having also a paralysis spell, is not bad at all. Like that would definitely help him deal with some nasty monsters.
Right, or rooms like, say, this one.
Yeah, exactly. We have mentioned earlier that fire beats wind, and Septic mentioned in the chat that like he's just waiting for some Griffons to be happy with their rise spell. Like we mentioned, fire beats wind, and the damage calculation works this way: that in case of spells, the damage when you've got elemental disadvantage is more than doubled compared to normal one. So that wind snowman cannot take a single fire spell. If it happens so that there is
certainly not.
Yeah, if it happens so that there is any griffin here and it suddenly decides to use the fire spell from afar, that snowman would be dead in an instant.
Yep, it would have a snowball chance. Thank you, I'll be here all week.
We can see that Reven is now in a little bit tough spot. He's injured by 2, and that's miscalculation.
That is over fast. Wugga hasn't won this just yet. Still has to make it out of this floor. Maybe
yes,
the next one?
And it looks like he does.
Yep, there's that blue collar, but we're probably not going to see anything useful about it. This runs can be over so quickly. That is the nature of Azure Dreams, everybody.
Yep. Lady Dema, was it confirmed that this was 12th floor on which Reven died? I think so, right?
I think so.
Yeah, because this, I don't remember this starting floor. So yeah, that's game 1 for Wugga. Unfortunately, Reven miscalculated his damage and goes down to one of the most annoying monsters in the tower, which is the Kraken.
Are unpleasant, and they cannot be lifted, and that probably made a big difference here. Okay, and now even if it was 13, Wugga made it to 14. That's it. That is round 1, squared away completely and nicely. I will grant the score, and we will set up for round 2. That Azure Dreams, sometimes things can come at you fast. As I remember a run the other day, I've been trying to practice bookless, and so was doing like the initial tower run for that, which isn't that much different, except I was paying attention to how much money things are worth. And slow trap, then like 5 enemies, pincering on both sides. It's on floor like 4 or 5.
Yep, that can happen. And like we mentioned earlier, that paralysis spell is amazing, but it's amazing usually at dealing with one enemy. When you have multiple enemies from multiple sides, there is as much as you can do with just a single paralysis spell. So that's unfortunate. But that game 1, we still have like at least 1 game to go. And we are hoping now for Reven to win.
Absolutely. Oh, what was that? Oh, wait. Actually, now I know what that was. That was who cares? I won round 1.
Yeah. So
every once in a while, you sometimes need to remember that like the match is happening. That makes any sense, or rather that. Oh, right, he already knows, or he doesn't already know, depending on exactly what the situation calls for.
But we could see from the first match one interesting thing that like Wugga actually took more time on early floors to explore, maybe gain more items, a little bit levels. Reven was ahead few floors in the beginning, but that ended up actually being bad for him. He got a little bit bad luck with those Krakens. So that's Azure Dreams for you. Sometimes you go fast to, go fast, but then you have to slow down because of that.
Yep. That is, I think, one of the things that makes our any percent sort of category a really fun category to watch is that sometimes little individual choices and big playstyle differences will work counterintuitively. Sometimes they will not. Sometimes the hare does beat the tortoise. Sometimes the tortoise beats the hare. Sometimes you make a mistake and it doesn't matter. Sometimes you do everything right and it also doesn't matter. And like, you could take that in a sort of, you could be frustrated with that, or you can enjoy it. You can laugh at it, because what else is there to do? You can laugh or you can cry.
Yes, unfortunately or fortunately, this game has plenty of RNG. We can control it to an extent, but sometimes there is only as much as you can do. So, of course, there is no too much point crying over spilled milk. Just shake it off and have fun with another match. That's what makes this game so exciting to watch, especially, at least for me, in a race environment.
Yeah, you never really know how any individual race is going to turn out. And soon we will see how this next race is going to turn out.
And yes, let's hear quickly from chat. What would you like to see in the second match for the starting familiar and the starting egg? Any predictions?
I know. I feel like.
We see killer.
I see a killer? Okay, that's always a fun one. I might like to see.
We will know soon. And it's a Garuda! Oh!
Okay.
So
we're going to be going fast today. This is going to be a high-risk, high-reward run.
Yeah.
That I'm confident in both of their abilities to do, as well as Control can let them do.
Yes.
It looks like it is a wind Garuda. That's your standard Garuda.
So, like, not only it's a Garuda, which is an amazing monster, we've said it many times, of course we'll explain it one more time, but it also has its spell awoken, and the spell that it has awoken, which is down spell, it's one of my most favorite spells in the whole game. It's ranged, it's quite safe, you can kill with it quite many things from afar, so I love it. Let's see how our runners handle it.
Damage is a little blah on that, but eventually where they're going, they will. Here though, where they're so very, very, very frail, they might want to get some levels before going full Garuda here.
So right now, I think I know what Reven is thinking, because a Wugga here is sort of an expert when it comes to using Garuda. We even heard it in chat, Garwuga. I think that's a term that Septic started in his match against Wugga, and surprisingly, Septic was able to beat Garwuga without a Garuda. So let's see how Reven fares against that.
Yep. I think the first couple of floors might at once be essential for gaining levels. That first level is the most important thing in the world, pretty much. It is the difference between life and death. But it's also going to be a little bit hard because they don't have a fire mixture magic. Pretty much all of the tough enemies on these first couple of floors are fire, except for cyclones when they eventually get there.
Yep, it might be so that like with this wind mixture magic that is range, they might want to go to the water floors and try to gain some experience there, because that would be sort of safe. You still cannot handle U-boats because unfortunately U-boats are submerged when they show up, and you cannot hit them with that mixture magic. You have to first let them go up by, for example, letting them hit you, which is not what they want.
Hard. We did see Reven for a second using what makes the Garuda so special, even fairly early on, its ability to abduct. It's very cheap, very effective. It will take you to any random tile in any room on the floor. And it can be done before the enemies leave, thus pull you out of danger. It can be done, though it might also bring you to danger. And that's one of the things. If something bad happens to you very abruptly, or the Garuda brings you to an unsafe place, you could end up worse off than you started, and you're not likely to get a whole lot of levels. I think the one flaw with use the water floors here is that they've got a scorch.
Oh yeah, and that will hurt them if they get hit by water monster, but the idea would be they've got range mixture magic. They don't want to come close to any of those water monsters. Of course, that's not always possible, but when they do come close to them, that's where they can use abduct and get out of danger and try to like attack any water monster again from afar. So let's see what our runners will decide to do here.
Wugga took a look at our starting egg. That is a Mandara egg.
It's not a bad egg. Like, that's not my favorite, especially that it doesn't have any mixture magic awoken, because of course we do that only for the starting familiar. All the eggs are the same as in the vanilla game.
While we're thinking about that, when we encounter wild Garudas, they're going to have which is not going to be ideal.
Oh yeah, that's the thing, that like all the starting familiars that we have their spells awoken, but that also works on the wild versions of this. And yeah, being struck from afar by Garuda, by the down spell, is not very fun. It's not a damaging spell when they do that, but they will be trying to lower down your level, the same way as clowns would do it.
I think the next question is going to be about how they deal with... we see Wugga already deciding, no, I don't want to deal with any of these things.
Yep. seems that Wugga doesn't even need levels, because those blooms could be quite easily taken care of with Garuda's spell. Let's see whether... Reven doesn't want to kill blooms either. He just goes further.
Of course, that does open up a lot of vulnerability to damage from enemies. So we're going to have to see, can either of them pick up HP that might make him even a little bit more survivable.
Yep, we can see that Wugga takes the lead, which is not surprising. Like we mentioned, he's an expert in the Garuda. In using Garuda, so that was pretty much expected, but of course Reven has plenty of time to get back into the lead. Wugga's audio is a little bit low. Let's see whether we can maybe increase the volume a bit.
I will leave that to you. In the meanwhile, what we have going on is a fairly speedy climb. They have some fireballs. I might occasionally use those flame balls on passing clowns for that level. Really? Feeding it to the Garuda? Okay, Wugga. Okay, alright. Because 30 HP is not going to last you very far. And Garuda is almost danger-proof, which is a very distinct category from being actually danger-proof.
On that note, there has been a little bit of a discovery lately. It's not public yet completely, because it's not the whole, let's say, experiment is not finished yet. But I know that both of our runners know about it. So, like Lady Demon mentioned, Garuda might not be safe in that sense that when it abducts, it can teleport you to any location on the map in any room. And unfortunately, that location can be also next to a monster. And when you end up next to a monster, like we can see right now on Wugga's side, that monster may attack you. In this case, attack by a clown wasn't very dangerous. Wugga didn't take any hit from it, and even if he did, he would survive.
Spell use.
Yes.
Well,
but
I think it was aimed at the Garuda, which might not survive. It's level 3.
Oh yeah. So there is this kind of risk in that ability of abduct, that you can end up next to a monster that will attack you. But the discovery is that if you abduct an empty tile like Reven is doing nowadays and move onto that tile, all the monsters will move before Garuda uses the abduct. They will move, but they will not attack. So when you end up teleporting next to a monster, that monster has already moved in that turn. And there is no chance that it will attack you because it already exhausted its move. So in that sense, Garuda can be very, very safe. Although you still have to worry about the traps, because you do have to move instead of just staying on the same tile and using the abduct.
Right. I think there might... Would there also be a risk in terms of a monster that's in front of you? We saw that Volcano didn't get a chance to hit in, so maybe it would not work that way.
If you can walk up to a monster, you can walk up to anything. As long as that monster is just moving, it will use its move. If it wants to attack, it will wait until Garuda uses abduct. So you are pretty much safe. The only situation where this is still unsafe is if you are already next to a monster and you teleport to exactly the same location, that monster will still attack you.
Okay, so that's a pretty low chance compared to other possibilities, so that's very good to... Also, an Aegon Reven, that could be... And then I pause significantly because, of course, what we're normally hoping for here is a Garuda.
Yeah.
When you already have everything you want, what is there to want? Reven using a pillar ball to get a little bit more EXP in, get some more HP for his Garuda.
we can see that Reven is exactly doing right now. Abduct, even though he was next to a monster, and he didn't have to worry, so yeah. I think that Wugga found an egg on floors like 5 or 6 to 10, so that is one egg that they might still be interested in. Because of course, Garuda is amazing. It like takes you out of the situations in which you don't want to be. But you still need to find an elevator. So what is the other monster that can help you find the elevator, Lady Deme?
That would be the U-boat, which is who Life 2 is saying in chat. Infinite star glasses. It can scout out the floor, tell you everything about it. And it doesn't need to have enough MP to use it. It just needs to have an MP and it'll just crash, but you can get 3 MP from any herb, any seed, any fruit. So that is the fun of U-boats.
Yep, it's just a matter of whether our runners want to spend time on hatching the egg that they don't know whether it will be a U-boat or not. And I'm pretty sure that both...
not. I suspect they won't. I suspect it won't be a thing that feels worth the time for them.
I think so too, because they both feel the pressure. They both know how fast they both are, so they don't really want to try to use the time for that. If they had the certainty, for example, by finding a truth glass, then oh yeah.
Let's pick up. Luckily it has its spell unlocked, so it doesn't go to attack Reven. Yep. Otherwise, that could have gone pretty bad.
To be honest, I think that like Garuda having a down spell is not a bad thing. If I like have to choose between a Garuda attacking me when I'm on low level versus the down spell, probably down spell is not that bad. Although Reven is using still a fire shield, so that attack would have been much less effective.
True, like I was saying, it turns out giving him its spell came in handy this time.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this is a tiny dense row.
Okay, we've got go up traps, something that Reven will definitely use, yes. And one thing to note, Reven was in a lead for a while, but now Wugga, Garwugga took it back.
Interesting that they both ended up in that same room in pretty short order, one after the other, thanks to Abduct. That's interesting. Not a thing you're likely to see. Because the RNG is not completely... Oh, that's just mean.
Yep.
That's just mean. The RNG, while set enough for turn, for like the floor layout and seeded through the randomizer/randomizer. Another egg. This is an egg-happy seed. For a seed which does not care about that.
We could see Reven using the Abduct and getting punished for it because he teleported next to a monster and that monster attacked Garuda. In the second turn, he decided, no, I'm not taking any more chances. I'm gonna abduct an empty tile because he does know that abducting empty tile is safer in that sense.
Yep. Oh, a leather shield. And it's a +1. That's gotta feel... Admittedly, the +1 is worthless. But you know, leather shield's gotta feel pretty nice. That can save you, that gives you a slightly higher chance to dodge. And here, that's going to make possibly a very big difference.
Most definitely. And like, you know, that 1 point of defense. Yeah, I agree, it's pretty much pointless. But if you could like save 1 HP loss, then why not, right? So that +1 is always fortunate.
Always fortunate, because really the difference between 1 HP and 0 HP is the only difference that really matters.
Exactly. One sort of funny, or I don't know, like statistics fact about our runners here is that both of our runners lost their first games against Poulet, who is currently waiting in the final spot, waiting for a winner of the elimination bracket, so this match. Both of our runners lost to Poulet 2-0. And both of our runners actually eliminated Septic. Wugga first eliminated Septic from the from the winners bracket, and then Reven completely took out Septic out of this tournament from the elimination bracket.
Funny how these things work.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that could have almost gone pretty scary, ending up in the same room. Looks like Reven's using that holy bell to not mess around. Instead, just get to that elevator. He's certainly a little bit behind. I think that might have been a slight misstep on Wugga's, not one that he gets punished for, and in the end, isn't that what really counts.
As long as you survive, it's okay.
Yep. In the end, all that matters is whether or not for it.
True that. So we can see that Wugga is getting a little bit ahead. He was getting like quite good luck with elevators, quite good movement, but Reven is slowly but surely catching up. I think Wugga is floor 23.
Wugga cannot leave this room.
That's the beauty of Garuda. Sometimes it takes you immediately next to the elevator, and sometimes it puts you to the same room multiple times. You never know.
Sometimes Garuda just feels the vibes of this room, feels the positive energy coming off this one special room.
Yep. And that's why our runners probably would love to have a U-boat on top of the Garuda, because then they can easily check, elevator is here, and now I know where I need to go. Do I need to use Garuda or not? But unfortunately, we don't know whether they have a U-boat. They might. They have so many eggs, but we will never know.
We will never know. So now, I think one thing worth observing: number one, Reven's getting pretty close.
Yep.
Getting close. That gap is closing. Probably because of that same room situation over and over again. The other of which is that I think if they I actually would say that if there's one type of item they'd probably want to see most, my money is actually on that being, I think trap loops would be the item you want to see most here.
Oh yeah, like mentioned earlier, with that new Garuda strategy where you abduct an empty tile, it's very safe. You're safe from the monsters, but you're not safe from the traps. So if they know where all the traps are, they will be like happy to not step on them.
Yep. Right next. Oh, that is frustrating. It wakes up right away, and so Wugga is not able to take the one step without spending another sleep ball charge. That stings.
That's still one floor difference. Reven just needs to take care of it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Now, see, I would have done at least one play of the barong for whatever it's worth, but you can at least not be in danger. Avoid dealing with that zoo, which I think could be a threat that if allowed to, like, just hang out there. Either way, keeping just one step ahead of Reven, and then that is.
Oh, that was the thing that we were talking about. Yeah, you're safe in terms of movement, but you're not safe from traps. Reven decides also not to use Gacha Machine, or does he? He will use Gacha Machine.
Well, it's right there, and there's nothing else in the room.
And he's getting. Unfortunately, it's truth. It's not bad, but he would probably prefer star glasses.
Mm-hmm. And so now he's just going.
Yep.
One roll of the gachapon only. Reven has catching up to do, and Reven go fast here.
Yep, our runners have quite good elevator luck in terms of having quite many starting rooms where the elevator is already known. But this is seeded tower, so both of our runners are having exactly same luck for that, so there is no advantage for one over the other. So even if like Reven is behind and like he will get those easy floors, Wugga already did get them, so there is no
and I
advantage.
think here we have Reven having a shot at getting ahead and taking the lead, but isn't going to.
No, seconds away.
Simultaneous elevator, pretty much. But I think Wugga does take the lead on that one by just a second. Wait, what?
I think I know what's going on. This is the difference between emulators that they are using. I know that Reven is using Retro Arch with which core? I don't remember with which core, but he's using the emulator that is a little bit faster than Mednafen. And if I recall right, Wugga is using Mednafen emulator. So this might actually be the difference here that is important.
Yep, that might make a pretty big difference. Allows to get hit on ahead to floor 31, getting our one piece of story. Now, we won't see what enemies are on this floor until afterwards, but also that could have gone pretty south. Ugh. That was not a good camera jump. I didn't like that.
Thank you, Skiff. Yes, that was rearmed emulator. I completely forgot, even though I'm using it too. Okay, let's see what kind of monster like Reven will get, like Lady Deme mentioned. Those monsters here are showing up only after Beldo, and they are completely tied to the RNG. They can be different for both runners.
Yep.
Luckily not bad, with quite good luck on showing up next to the elevator with two monsters in the room, but Reven will be able to take care of it, even with a Holy Bell. Oh no! Reven has missed step.
Command his Garuda, missed a step. Now the ride is over, and Reven is going to have to try and survive on his wits. I think it's very likely that Wugga takes this just because he still has the option to go very fast.
Yep. Reven's inventory is pretty good, and he can probably survive just on the items, and many times playing without the familiar is faster, maybe faster, but it's really hard to beat the fact that like Wugga just can teleport from one place to the other in the map in a matter of a second. So that might be unfortunately too slow for Reven. But let's see how it's going on. I wouldn't like really sign off Reven yet.
Oh yeah, anything can still happen. For one thing, Azure Dreams can decide to be as abruptly cruel to Reven as it was to Wugga as it was to Reven just then, and Reven could still, in his sprint, get ahead a little bit faster. All of these things could still make a difference. The question is, will they? And that we don't know. Odds are pretty good on Wugga. And like, that hit on that Garuda is going to feel bad for a while. That's going to be sore.
I would like to point out how crazy of a time our runners have. They're like in floor 30s with 24 minutes 30 seconds on the clock. This might be very easily sub 30 completion.
Yep, and this is the power of the Garuda. This is why Garuda is like a criteria on which runs can be sorted while we in the moderation team debate whether or not Garuda is its own category, pretty much.
Exactly, and we can see that right now Wugga is very careful about what he's doing. He's all the time abducting empty tiles. He knows that with his level on these floors, he will die from a single hit from any monster.
Absolutely. This could end really at any moment. Or rather, this could change at any moment, and for Reven, end at any moment.
Wugga is on floor 37, right? And now 38, so 2 more floors. Reven is on 35. Reven needs to speed up if he wants to have a chance, but I don't think that this is enough. Something really bad must happen to... Yeah, this room normally would have been the end for Wugga, but thanks to this new strategy, he's pretty much safe with those.
Yep. That is the aim of the game here. That is such a difference maker that it really does, I think, take either a total accident of RNG or an outright error to stop Wugga here, which eliminates neither of those as possibilities. But Reven here, but Reven is more or less completely by the skin of his teeth. I think even a good curling from a glacier in a situation like he has, they have the ability to essentially kick a thing of ice into you that sends you speeding along down the hallway or whatever flat surface happens to be in front of you. And that can be very handy if you can survive it. And here, Reven probably couldn't.
Yep. Luckily for Wugga, that dragon was blind. Because he had to teleport in a single tile corridor. He didn't have a room where he could do this manipulation of abducting empty tile. So he had to use normal abduct with Putin, and that's a game for Wugga.
That's a game. Game, set, and match.
So beautiful. Let's Reven finish his run because he's so close. But that's definitely a match for Wugga. So let's see how Reven tackles the rest of the tower, while Wugga shows us a little bit about the plot of this game.
Yep. We've heard from Bello, we've heard the essential bit, he killed our father, etc., etc. And now we're going to learn all of the blah-de-blah, unless Wugga decides he's not going to play out the final battle, in which case, that's fair.
But I'm still like amazed at the time how fast both of our runners are pretty much that high in the tower, because it's not just Wugga. Yes, his time is crazy, but Reven is crazy high too with this time. So I remember Senna at some point said, one of our very prominent members of the community said that like this tournament is crazy. To win you need to have like 1 minute a floor, or even less than 1 minute a floor, like a little bit. This is crazy. That's less than 30 minutes to complete the tower, and we give our runners 1 hour for that.
Yep. Having a really solid starting monster or starting kit can make all the difference in the world, and our runners are unquestionably skilled. So Wugga will be going on to rematch against Poulet.
Yes.
And from there, we'll see what the future holds in store. Oh, farewell, Garuda, noble friend.
Yeah, Wugga is showing how stupid this game is when it comes to pathfinding algorithms. That Beldo will go after the egg and stay there forever.
We will see if there's a friendly third. We'll see if Reven can complete this climb. Or if the tower will be just a little too cruel for him.
I'm pretty sure Reven will be up for the 30 friendly third. Wugga, I think so too. So we will have a chance to see one more
fast matches.
Yes. Is it an hour? It's not even an hour since we started this match.
Yep.
We give our runners 3 hours for 3 matches. They completed 2 matches with a clear in less than an hour. So that's how crazy it is.
Absolutely wild.
I really would like to see one more match from both of these runners, and I hope we'll get the chance to see that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that Wugga is now wondering what is happening, because our runners don't know how the other is doing. for like many reasons, mostly because this is seeded tower, so they would know about the items, eggs, floor layouts. So we don't allow them to see how the other runner is doing. We just inform them that like when one person wins over the other. But right now we didn't inform Wugga yet with anything, so I'm wondering what is he thinking? Like, did Reven finish? Did Reven not finish? But yeah, we will tell Wugga once Reven finishes, just to like keep him a little bit more tense.
Well, really, I think it's going to be keeping Reven a bit more tense. And Wugga probably finishes, figures he has either finished or we're deliberately doing that until he gets the egg? Does he think? I guess he could think it could be that.
Did Wugga show us what are all those eggs?
No, I don't believe
Not
so.
really. Okay. We still have some time before Reven finishes the tower. Maybe Wugga will show us inventory when he spawns back at house.
Yeah, maybe so. That would be a good way to close it.
Because I'm really interested, how many Garuda eggs did they have, apart from the original one?
Right, this could be anything. It could even be a.
Let's see. In the meantime, Reven is still climbing floor 38, 2 more floors. If I recall right, floor 39 was not hard for Wugga. So as long as Reven finds the elevator here, he should be fine. He's got so much of the inventory that it should be easily doable.
Inventory is getting pretty slim at this point. Not completely slim, but like a lot of the easy for sure solutions that are like lasting have by this point gone, and so it's kind of egg bombs sleep. Oof, unfortunate, just barely manages to not be able to escape.
Yep, small miscalculation on Reven's side. He fully understands how the game mechanics works when it comes to getting aggroed by the monsters, but he miscalculated one step and had to deal with that monster. At least we now know, or we knew already, that he used the starting egg, which was Mandara. 3 eggs left.
Right, that is, I think, a very solid call, Mandara.
And that's GG on Reven's side.
A double clear that at least wipes out some of the pain. And so that we can see like both of these runners making it to the top. Whew. It is a lot. It says a lot about how far this community has come that this becomes a thing we can see in late tournaments, both runners doing. Maybe not all the time, but often enough. It's still always hype. Those final are always pretty menacing.
We got a promise from our runners that they will show us the eggs, so we will know. At least my curiosity will be satisfied.
We are doing good, Skullname, and this match has flown by in
Volcano.
Very fast Azure dreams.
Volcano, Snowman, and the last one, Garuda. Zoo.
No Garudas.
No good.
Except for the Garudas they had to begin with. Well, turns out they were entirely right to spend the whole match ignoring those eggs. Though they all would have made good bombs, which I'm sure would be handy for Reven's purposes. So, what will we be seeing here today? Oh, a balloon was that early egg. And there's also a griffin that I think Wugga got and Reven did not from somewhere or another.
Yes. I think that was that floor 9 egg, was it? That I remember Reven never got. But yeah, we will get the friendly third. Our runners just need a short break, and we'll be back to you with some more Azure Dreams goodness in just a while. In the meantime, we've got more time this time to give us predictions. What will be as a monster in a third seat, familiar and an egg? I don't want to see any more Garudas. Too much craziness for me.
Too much Garuda. Yeah, it's fun. We've seen how absolutely blistering fast they can go. I want to see Palumpa percent.
Oh yeah, that would be interesting. I know that Reven has done it already.
Oh, absolutely. But it's still funny. The day Palumpa percent stops being funny to me, you will have to, I guess, be burying me. I will be dead.
So what, next tournament will be Palumpa percent only?
Well, you'll have to ask Shawnee.
Yeah,
Dreamin',
go ahead.
Noise or Dreamin' would also be, good, or Noise and Dreamin', or Palumpa and Dreamin' for the comedy. Just something that's going to give them a hard time.
I would want to see some shenanigans, but different kind of shenanigans. Something with Manoiva and Picket, so that maybe we can get some dupe tricks? Or any other tricks with Manoiva?
Oh, that'd be fun, yeah. I might also like to see maybe U-Boat as the starting monster and something without a spell as the secondary, so that they can decide what is a valuable use of the U-Boat's MP. Barang and Manoiva 100%.
Yeah, I think Shawnee mentioned in one of the other chats that if he was doing any percent tournament and suddenly found a dark sword in a tower, it would be okay, I forfeit, I'm going for bookless. So maybe it would be the same here, but unfortunately this is a seeded tower, so seeded towers are not valid for leaderboard. So I don't think that our runners suddenly would decide to switch to 100%. Although that would be interesting.
It would be, and I wonder, what would the perfect 100% seed look like? If one were to make such a thing for the lulz.
Barang and Manoiva is pretty good start, because from the beginning you've got unlimited gacha machine, with which you can get as many roche fruits as you want. Then you just get another picket and you're set for life.
Yep, I think that would probably about cover it. It would still take quite a while, but you'd have a lot of liberty. And you could have a lot of fun with it, I think.
Oh yeah. We can see some love towards Wugga from Reven's side. He named himself Wugga number 1. Unfortunately, Reven will not be able to get his revenge against Poulet, so I guess now his wishes go with Wugga to avenge him. 5-5-3.
No matter what happens in the final match, Reven can say that he lost to the winner of the overall tournament. You're 1 hour late and a crazy set of matches late. I'm sorry, Gene Freak.
Yep, Gene Freak, you have to rewatch it. Crazy game 2. The speed that our runners picked up in game 2 is just unbelievable. I'm still shaking from it.
Garuda seeds are like that.
We've seen Garuda seeds before, but nothing like that in this tournament. I don't think that like anybody has done anything below 30 minutes. The lowest were like 30 plus. So this would be like a record for this tournament, I guess.
Could be, yeah. Certainly impressive. Alright, so we'll be getting to see them going. I'm going for this friendly third. And we will see what the future has in stores, getting our money's worth. But admittedly, no one is getting paid for this. There is no, but we're still getting our not money's worth.
Yeah, it's Saturday. To me, it's time well spent. I definitely enjoy watching this game, especially like with such great gameplay.
All right, they are both ready for their countdown.
Yep, they will be off very, very soon, and we will finally get our answer. What is the third seed? What does it have for us?
We shall see what is behind this corner in just a moment. Gentlemen, start your engines! Wait, neither of you have a motorbike. Start your feet then.
That might be an idea for the next tournament, to save those like few seconds. Both of our runners will start with a bike.
New game plus tournament when?
Oh yeah. I'm sure Kluder would be very happy about it.
I'm not sure how well it would make for a tournament because the number of strategies are relatively low. A Viper.
Viper.
Huh.
That's a decent familiar. It's quite strong, and it has a mixture magic that we already discussed before, the one which can paralyze. So I'm pretty sure that our runners will try to go for wind if they're not wind already. And it seems they're not, they're fire.
That's interesting. I've never seen that color scheme before. Dark Sword! Time. No.
Who called for Dark Sword? Yes. So the thing with the Dark Sword is that it's an amazing sword. It has very great attack power. I'm pretty sure that our runners will immediately switch the familiars to AI2 so that because they can pretty much handle everything on their own. The problem with a Dark Sword is that as powerful as it has also a little bit lower hit chance. So we might see a little bit more misses than we would see normally. But other than that, great starting weapon.
That is, for pure power, there's not too much that's better. And certainly it's one of those things that you almost never see outside of these random toolkits. Yeah, the Fire Viper does look pretty cool. I wasn't initially sold on the high contrast, but now I'm kind of digging it. Reven running into a bit of a tricky situation. Viper's tough enough that I'm not terribly worried.
Oh yeah, if it's a Fire Viper, it should be able to handle everything on its own. No problem here. If it was a Wind Viper, that would have been a little bit more troublesome against the trolls, but with this setup, they should be good.
As Skeef is pointing out in chat, the Viper magic in Viper Town won't make a huge difference. It might end up being more useful to them than it will to their opponent. So to speak, than it will to the Vipers, because really the tower is the true opponent.
True that. So we can see that this seed will be a little bit slower than the previous one. Probably it's just a start, but we can already see that they're exploring the floor. They know that they need a little bit more resources than in case of Garuda. So let's see how it goes further. Did our runners check the starting egg? I didn't call.
They did in fact. It was nothing terribly interesting. I forget exactly what, But not okay, a volcano, something like that.
Oh yeah, then it's useless.
It's basically useless, yeah.
Of course, most of the monsters have some certain quirks that can make a monster useful in a certain situations. Like, for example, in the previous run, they had Mandara. Mandara on its own, maybe it's not very good monster, especially without any mixture magic, but it has an ability that has a chance to confuse a target. So if you have nothing else to do, that might be your only card out of the situation that you are in. With the volcano, yeah, go ahead.
We basically have an ice rock ball in them.
Yep.
That's about it.
I think Wugga has an example where a volcano actually trolled him. If I recall right, it was in the game with Septic. Like Deme mentioned, it has an ice rock ball in a form of a lava rock that they can poop onto any tile that is adjacent to them. And it just happened so in Wugga's match that the volcano decided to poop that lava rock on a tile where there is elevator. So that's a way to troll you.
Oh, that sounds super mean. How dare it?
Yep. But the thing is that like in like very bad situation,
obstacles original purpose.
yeah. In a very like tough situation, niche situation, they might be thinking of using the volcano lava rock to put it in a single tile corridor to block it off so that the enemies cannot follow you. But it's such a weird situation that I doubt we would ever actually see it happen. Yeah, we can see that right now even U-boats are not scary because Wugga, I presume Reven as well, has Earth Shield. Earth Shield makes them stronger against U-boats in that sense that they don't take as much damage. And that Dark Sword is able to handle almost everything in the tower.
Yep. It is a pretty formidable thing. We see what on one that's very strategic choice. That's certainly something that Vipers hit hard, and it can make for you.
Wugga is walking around with Earth Shield. Deme, is that a good idea? What may happen?
It is a pretty risky one. While these floors aren't the worst place for it, I think he can probably survive a bomb trap even with those defenses on these floors. If it's cursed, though, I would never put on an Earth Shield if I didn't know it wasn't cursed, basically.
Yep, that's what I was going for.
Switch now, yeah.
Yeah, so Earth Shield, as much as it is good against water monsters, unfortunately, like mentioned earlier, all the traps that deal elemental damage, they're fire, and you don't want to have elemental damage against you when you're wind, technically. So yeah, we've seen it before in practice runs where you start with the Earth Shield, you go happy with that shield to the floor number 2, and you hit a bomb trap, and then your run is over, because on level 1 it will straight up kill you.
Yep. That is always a risk. Runs can end very quickly, particularly early on, and particularly later on, and too. That covers about everything. We see Reven has switched over for 2 wind and 2 that paralysis spell. You know, the casting animation on that Viper is pretty cool.
On Viper, it's really awesome, and the best part of it is it's really fast. I don't know why it's so fast on it, but it is. And yeah, now Viper, like Reven, is very happy to abuse that paralysis.
This is not a great situation, what is it?
Definitely not. But luckily,
this
was
is
not
a
brainwashed.
monster party here.
That the Dark Sword definitely helps him to survive anything he's up against.
Yep.
He's got Earth Shield, so water monsters are not that scary. Oh no, oh no. Luckily, his Viper survived.
So, what are you going to do now, Wugga?
I think that Viper cannot take another hit from a U-boat. No, it cannot. So Wugga has to be very careful to not lose his familiar. Okay, yeah, that was his idea. He wanted the U-boat to follow the Viper, follow Ko, so that he can collar and now run away. But in the meantime, because Wugga is having a little bit tough time, we can see that Reven actually took the lead in this game.
That's a nice little lead he is being allowed here.
Definitely, that wind helped in that sense that it helped him not be scared of enemies. But now he has to be very, very careful with that Twin Viper so that it doesn't get sniped by Griffin, like earlier mentioned. If there is any fire spell going up against that Viper is as good as dead.
Oh, warp trap! Not very far away, but doesn't necessarily mean things were okay.
There were
A lot
monsters.
can happen in the next few seconds here. Hello, SpeedGaming. We're on friendly third. This match went by very fast. Looks like the hallway situation worked out like more or less ideally for Reven.
Yep, and Wugga pretty much caught up to Reven in terms of floors. Let's see whether Wugga hits the same warp trap. What a luck from Wugga! Was it 3 times in a row getting... Yes, same warp trap.
This is sure a rum. This is
4th in a row!
Oof. This is a floor. Now, this is dicey.
In the meantime, while Reven is having this very, very tough situation, Wugga was lucky enough to take the lead. That warp track took him exactly where he needed to be.
Oh, well, isn't that fortunate, boy? Oh,
And there we go, he misses.
That could make all the difference in the world, folks. It looks like he might... Nope. This is a very small floor. That is a very bad thing.
Luckily, he's got Holy Bell, so that helps him. Another warp trap. And this time, Reven is using it to his advantage. He is getting like teleported next to the elevator. Very good, smart play. So yeah, warp traps are not only bad, sometimes they can be useful if you know where they are.
If you know where they are, if you can walk up your monster, sometimes the tower says no and you say something about it. And sometimes the tower just says no.
Yeah. But I put it in my notes. I gotta ask Wugga, what the heck is wrong with his luck? If I counted correctly, he got 4 misses in a row. Not that like he didn't hit. Monster didn't hit him 4 times in a row. That was crazy.
Pretty wild.
I don't see Wind Seed in Wugga's inventory. I guess he didn't find it. So,
I think that's pretty likely.
yeah, so he's going to continue using, if he needs to, that 100% blind. But like we mentioned earlier, unfortunately for that, he does need to take a hit. So it's not as safe as paralysis. But yeah, no problem for Wugga. Well, unless that Griffin decides to be very mean, or there is another monster coming from the other side.
Right.
Let's see what Wugga
This is
decides
not
to
an
do.
ideal situation for Wugga.
He will survive, but will his Viper survive?
It is
Luckily,
fire.
yes. Luckily, yes, so no problem here.
Just getting out of trouble. That fire crystal, pretty nice, can be a little bit unpredictable. unpredictable, and its efficacy goes down pretty much from the moment you find it. Okay, because that little monster that it summons does not scale.
And now both of our runners are on the same floor. Wugga has a little bit of a lead. He got here faster. Wugga decides the mean in which they spawned was very mean. Wugga still had a holy bell, so he decided that was the best way out of the situation. Reven didn't have a holy bell anymore, but he has a paralysis spell that he can use and abuse as much as he wants. So luckily, thanks to that, he was able to get out. He still has a little bit of a monster train behind him, but he should be able to handle it. Yes, and now abusing paralysis even more by blocking off the path so that those pesky krakens will go away. What happened? Did Reven decide to take off his sword? I think so. He doesn't like to have a lower hit chance anymore, because his main means of getting rid of the enemies is actually like paralyzing them and throwing them away rather than killing them. That makes him unfortunately very low level. But if he is going for that, definitely not wearing Dark Sword is the way, because Dark Sword gives you much lower hit chance. So that seems to be
it's worth noting that even though he doesn't have Paralyzed spell at the moment, Wugga does. He's about the same level. Well, on the same floors. They're both very over leveled because they're both going very fast. And now are we gonna see a fusion? We have not seen many fusions here. Or is he just switching to that clown?
I think he will just go clown all the way, because he's about to go to water floors, so that wind clown is what he needs. If he fused it with the viper would be fire, and the clown would be fire, and thus wouldn't have as big advantage over water monsters as he will have now, because he is about to reach the floor where he has arachnes and vipers, and normally that clown would be able to one-shot them easily. And while that is probably still true for the arachnes,
well, that's still a couple of floors off, but not that many, and I think we could see them go by in just the blink of an eye. Certainly, he's liking taking out that mule. Oof. That is a big damage on that head.
Yeah, both of our runners are quite low level. I would expect now that Wugga has a clown, he will actually get few more levels, thanks to the fact that he can fight things. So, like I said, probably once we reach arachnes, he will get rid of few of them and gain levels this way. My previous thought was that normally he would be able also to get rid of vipers this way, but now all the vipers are fire. So wind against them is actually less effective.
Yeah, that's a good point. Microtown's going to be surprisingly tricksy for Wugga.
Yep. Wugga a little bit like misthrows that Garuda, keeping it in the room. He doesn't want that. Because if that Garuda woke up while he was in the room, it would aggro on him. So goes, picks it up again, and throws it to the location where it will not bother him. Normal Garudas, use the flame ball to get like few levels, because even in like any percent run, you don't want to be this low level unless you've got some kind of means that can take you out of the danger like Garuda. So getting few levels for safety is definitely a way to go now. And Garudas and Pickets are perfect enemies for that. They go very easily with fireballs, while giving quite decent experience.
Yep, and that's one of the handy and strategic decisions one can make when one has this game in front of them, namely how do you get EXP and when do you get EXP? Things which are higher level, things which are on higher floors rather than being strictly based on levels, can be easier to fight than things which are technically not so bad.
What is up with that RNG on Wugga's side? He just got confused. So confusion, or pretty much all the traps in this game work this way, that they make you feel the effect. If you're blind, it's not that like you hit less, you just don't see anything on the map because everything becomes black. When you are confused, if you press left, it doesn't go left, it goes in a random direction. So Wugga, what we saw on Wugga's side, when he was confused, he did take like few RNG shots at trying to walk away from this room, and he actually did exactly what he needed. So I don't know what is happening with this RNG on Wugga's side. He must have given enough sacrifices to the gods of the RNGs.
Mm-hmm. Someone sacrificed his regularly scheduled goat.
Yeah.
So now, and here we have those arachnids we were talking about earlier. Those are candy. Those are going to have that wind magic coming very hard, but their defenses aren't like so amazing that you can hit them several times with a wind magic and it be okay. Still, not being able to get a distance could mean, oh, that was very lucky. That could have been over fast.
Yes, if that was a critical hit, that would have been it.
And these things can happen, folks.
Yep.
These things can happen.
Let's see, does Wugga take the experience? No, he doesn't want the experience, apparently. Oh, no, now he does. That should be
Well,
shot.
that one was going to walk away, and you need some distance to really get the most use out of Thunder Wave, to whittle down an enemy as it approaches you, as if now you're the bow troll.
Yep.
And not that.
And we can see how easily Wugga can take care of these spiders. Whoa!
Oh!
That was a misstep! And there goes down Wugga. So Reven is actually on the same floor. So yeah.
All Reven has to do is get out of this floor and like, hopefully. Oh, there goes that dark sword. That's a sad treasure to lose, but
Reven was not using it anyways. So I'm not sure whether Reven found that egg.
He did. He investigated it. He found it. That it's a clown. He's just not using it. But now we see that sometimes a little misstep makes all the difference. There we go. See? Clown.
Oh, so Reven decides to like use the clown. I just think that this is because it's a friendly game. In a normal game, I'm pretty sure he would have gone for the clown, because clown is such a safe monster, as long as you don't forget to use its mixture magic.
Mm-hmm. And now Reven takes that final point off of Wugga. Yeah.
I will let our runners know, and we will invite them for interview.
Mm-hmm.
We should have our runners joining soon. So, chat, if you have any questions to our runners, please type them now. We'll try to ask them after we ask our series of questions. And we already have Wugga on the channel. Hello, Wugga. Congratulations.
Hello, thank you.
and Reven will be here soon as well. There is Reven. Hello, hello, GG.
Hello.
GG's, Wugga. Well played.
GG, Reven.
GG.
Yeah, so there are so many things that I want to ask you about, but first thing, it has to be like, I think it's on everyone's mind. What the heck happened in that game too? Like, how could you beat the tower so quickly? Both of you, give me your thoughts.
Reven, feel free to go first.
Well, I mean, just having a Garuda in general is pretty much a free go fast pass, and I was trying to implement the new strategy that I came up with, Chai, where you walk into it to make it a little safer. It ended up paying off in some cases, in other cases it didn't seem like it worked at all. I got pretty lucky, I think at least once or twice, with my Garuda getting smacked and managing to survive. And then I threw him away on 31 to a miscalculated step. I was trying to go too fast, and he took a hit from a tyrant, and there was no way he was surviving. From that point, I mean, I had decent inventory. I had a lot of spell balls, and I think I had like 2 Oleams and fair inventory, and I wasn't sure if I was gonna make it to the top because I think I was around level 9 at the time, and I ended it like level 23, so it says a lot for how powerful those top floor monsters are.
Yeah, I think for me... Sorry, I think for me round 2 was weird because after the first one, after the win, I figured, okay, I can lose the second match. I'm gonna play this a little slower, a little safe. Oh wait, we have a Garuda. Never mind. We're going super fast.
Yeah, and go
It
ahead.
was so weird. It was weird from going to, okay, I'm just gonna slow down to, okay, we're gonna do this super fast.
Yeah, that was our reaction. Like, my first thought was that, like, I think Reven feels the pressure because he knows how fast Wugga is. It is a thing now. It stays. It sticked. Sorry, Wugga. And I was thinking that Reven probably will, even though he may not fully like it, he will have to try to go fast too. So, so yeah. And I did notice that both of you actually were using this abducting empty tile. Wugga not so much in the early floors, and also for you, Reven, it was the same, that in early floors you were not always using it, because I guess like you were thinking that yeah, I can take the hit even if I get hit, not a problem. But starting from like floors 20 plus, I think Wugga pretty much every single time used this abducting empty tile, and it paid off a few times. I think in one floor you teleported next to monsters like 3 times in a row, something like this.
Yes, I think I have to... Chai, I think I have to give you half of the credit for that win, for telling me about that strategy, because that floor that you just mentioned, landing next to dragons, that could have ended it if it weren't for the empty tile thing. So thank you for telling me about that just a couple of days
No
ago.
worries. Yeah,
It
yeah.
was a wonderful showcase of that.
Yeah. I remember Reven having situation once where he abducted just himself and skipping a turn. Then his Garuda got hit because he got teleported next to a monster and immediately abducted away, but this time from the empty tile. You didn't want to take another chance for it.
Yeah, there's only so much room for error, and I'm pretty sure that I started doing that on, as soon as I started, was able to see Griffins, because there was no way that a low-level wind Garuda is going to survive a random rise. So I think that was about when it started. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I was not expecting to get a Garuda starter against Wugga. I tried my best. It was my fastest climb in this tournament so far, so I can't complain. But it wasn't fast enough for going here.
And that was crazy about that game, that like 33 minutes and it's a loss. Like, how can that be? But I'm still shaking from it. But tell me a little bit more about game 1. What has happened there, Reven?
game 1 was a catastrophe. I was okay with the mixture magic that we started with. I wasn't thrilled. I think it was fire originally. But Snowman is actually a decent melee fighter, and especially with the break obstacle I used a couple times, it can be a fairly decent fighter. And that's what I was intending to use it as until I found a wind seed fairly early. And from that point on, I had a couple of the fireballs, so I was trying to just rush the paralyzed strats to Garudas and Pickets and burn them away so I could get up some levels and not have to worry too much about it. But unfortunately, there were a few Krakens in my path that had something to say about that. And I knew originally when I used the Acid Rain on him, I knew it wasn't going to kill it, but I was hoping that it would put it close enough that the Fireball would kill it, because I didn't really have much else to... I mean, I could have tried paralyzing and run away, but I don't know. I probably should have, thinking back on it, just paralyzed it and took a couple steps, paralyzed it again, and tried to get out of it. But I was trying to go fast. What can I say?
Yep.
Happens to the best of us at times.
Exactly. And I have one more question. This time it's to Wugga. It's also a question from a chat, pretty much. What is wrong with your luck, man? Like, seriously, was it 4 times in a row that enemies missed you? Like, what do you sacrifice and to whom? Tell us all. We all want that.
I mean, I would tell you, but I don't think it would meet the requirements for PG-13 to stream.
Fair enough. Okay, thank you. That would be questions from me. Any questions from you, Dema?
No, I don't think so. You about covered it. I will say, great job. Although, when occasionally
We have one
make the
question
misstep,
still
I think they
from
both
chat.
did absolutely fantastically.
We still have one question from chat before we then wrap it up. Question from Septic. Reven, how does it feel to face against Wugga?
Not great. Not great. At least on my end, he didn't get super lucky with Barong Roche farming or anything. We both had an even playing field, and I just wasn't fast enough. So, yeah. Thanks for that question, Septic. I appreciate that.
I get you. Yeah, so I guess if no more questions, that would be it from our side. So Wugga wins. Reven is out of this tournament. We've got just one final match in the tournament, the final of the finals, a rematch of Pule versus Wugga. Pule hasn't lost a round, if I recall correctly, in this whole tournament. So I'm sure thoughts of many are with you, Wugga, to give Pule a run for his money. Do you want to like hype this match more than it is already hyped?
I don't know. The last time I did that in Rock Me to the Top 2, when I tried to smack talk him beforehand, it ended badly. So I think I'm gonna pass this time. We'll just see how it goes. I mean, Pule is such a good player. It's always scary to face him. I don't think I really can prepare for that outside of just practice a little and possibly just forego a whole bunch of safeties during the matches.
Good luck. I'd like to thank all the folks at SpeedGaming. I'd like to thank both our for giving us an awesome time.
Yes, thank you everyone. Thank you, Shawnee, for posting the links. I completely forgot about them. Should you want to watch more of the Azure Dreams, we've got the links to chats of our runners. We've got the links to Azure Dreams Discord, where you can join and discuss more about Azure Dreams, or maybe even join us in this madness. And we'll be seeing you somewhere next week, where we will see the finals of this tournament. Thank you so much, everyone.
All right. Have a good day.
Thank you, everybody.
Take care.
See you, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye.